Hey everybody, what's going on? Your host AMF1534 here. Welcome back to Let's Play some more Pinball Arcade. So, last time we were actually getting really close to knocking out the remainder of what is here in the Season 2 table set. But as I revealed last time, they're adding new material in here, kind of on the daily. Or not really on the daily, but they are adding new material semi-regularly. So they're going to be dealing with that whole Season 3 thing here pretty soon. So the only ones that we have left in this set now is Terminator 2, Victory, didn't really get to get a preview of that one, Victory, Whirlwind, which is the free table of the month, and Whitewater. That is what remains. So we'll at least check out a couple of these. I'm going way too far for some reason. Let's just go up manually. There we go. Alright, my friends, let's check out Terminator 2. I got something I want to tell you guys about, and it really kind of upset me because I totally should have entered it. So, last night at Coin Jam, I was there. They had a little tournament going on at the arcade where they were doing GoldenEye 007. And it was super cool. Wow, this is awesome, by the way. The frames per second are going to be probably a little bit slower in this video just because I accidentally left my my bag at work, and it had like my charger in it, so the frames per second are going to be a little bit lower in this video, and I'm kind of bummed about that.
Checkpoint 1.
But we'll work with it for now. So just bear with me. So what happened is they had a tournament at the arcade. They were doing GoldenEye 007. You're like, well, wait a minute, GoldenEye 007 was never in the arcade. Well, you're absolutely right. But what they did was they took, you know, just like a regular Nintendo 64, and they had a projector screen, and they were just playing it on the wall. So they had, you know, a bunch of different participants in there, and they were doing one-on-one, just death matches, essentially. And, you know, they're putting different parameters in there and such, and apparently the winner of the whole tournament got $100 cash. And I didn't know that. Like, I thought it was just going to be, there was going to be some prize in it, but I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, so I actually didn't enter. I probably would have done just fine, but I didn't know that, like, the stakes were that high, because they announced it on Facebook, and so I was like, oh, well, I'll go and stop in and check it out. And, like, the people that were, it was actually getting pretty intense. Like, it went on for about 3.5 hours, roughly. There was a lot of people there for it. But most of the people that were competing in there, like, and I'm not trying to sound like that guy, like, oh, way better than everybody, I would have fucking killed everybody, and, you know, blah, but realistically, like, I grew up playing GoldenEye, just as a lot of us probably did. I mean, that was like one of the most popular games of its time. It was super awesome. And I mean, I used to have, you know, parties at my house every once in a while, and I'd have, like, whenever I'd go over to friends' houses, they'd have tournaments too. We'd always have tournaments for GoldenEye. So, like, that's the type of thing where you never really forget about that kind of stuff. Like, you get the memory of the maps down just in your head, and it's engraved in your skull for the rest of your life. Ooh, what do we got? Million! Was it a million, or was it multiple million? I think it was just a million.
Silent alarm.
Another million. Sound the alarm. We're probably getting close to that score limit pretty soon, I would assume. But yeah, so I mean, they were doing the only thing I wasn't too wild about was their selection of maps that they were using. Like, they were doing all of the ones that I didn't particularly like, or at least that I saw, because I was still, you know, there playing games and whatnot, which I finally set the record on Super Hang-On again. That was pretty sick. But every time I'd go over there and look, like, they were doing all of the maps that I never liked when I would play. So they were doing, oh, come on, give me that kickback, damn it. They were doing, like, let's see, I think it wasn't the library. There was, like, the library, there was something else, and there was the stack. So the stack was the one that combined all three levels together, but they weren't doing, they were doing the other two. Oh, it's library, complex, and stack. Those were the ones. and they weren't doing the good one out of the 3 of those. They were doing the less awesome, shitty ones. And then they also did the caves, which the caves was probably my least favorite map out of all of them. So there was that one. They did the Egyptian one, which I guess that one's okay. Like, I've never been a huge fan of the Egyptian levels, especially because the multiplayer one is just such a weird layout for that. But it's whatever. I never saw them do the facility, but I would guarantee that they did it. So it got to the point where they were getting, down to like last call for that, and there are people that were leaving and such. Oh, we're gonna lose the ball! Damn it! I actually probably could have gotten that had I just not done anything. I kept forgetting that little tabs down there. But, so they got down to the final matchup. And, every once in a while you could hear people yelling and screaming and stuff if there was something like really awesome that happened. But overall, it was kind of a quiet thing going on. So we get down to the final match, and that's when he finally announced that there was a $100 grand prize, and that's when I kind of got pissed off. But so apparently, what the parameters came down to was playing on the bunker with just pistols, and it was they were playing it kind of like one-shot kills. So you didn't or if you had body armor, it was 2 shots. I'm pretty sure, but. So there wasn't you didn't have full-on life bars. It was just, single shot dies. And it was for first to 10 wins. And so that's when it started getting a little bit real. And both of the guys that were playing, they were okay. One guy was, definitely better than the other one, that's for sure. And so it starts out the guy, one guy ends up kind of jumping out, and he takes a 7-3 lead, and so everybody was kind of, everybody's like, oh, I can kind of see where this is going. But then the other guy kind of makes a comeback. He makes it 7-5, and then he makes it 7-6, ties it up at 7, takes the lead at, we got the score limit. Even though we lost all of our balls, we still hit the score limit. So then he takes the lead 8-7, then they tie it up at 8, and then the underdog guy takes a lead 9-8. And then they tied up at 9-9, and then there was just a huge standoff. And they were kind of just fumbling around and whatever. Or no, this is when it was 9-8. They were having this big standoff in the main room in the bunker. And nobody was going anywhere. They were just, one guy was kind of holed up in an area, and the other guy couldn't really find a way to get in there without getting himself killed. And so they just kind of stood there. And they ended up coming out, and the guy ends up tying it up 9-9, and so that's when all the tensions got pretty crazy. And when the guy that was originally head 9-8, oh damn it! Well, where the hell did that go? What the hell's going on? Oh, okay. I was like, I don't understand what's going on. So when the guy that ends up tying up the game sees where the other guy spawned, he got the worst spawn. He ended up spawning in the jail, which there's only one way in there. And I think that he spawned in the jail cell that had no gun. And he was pretty close by, and so everybody that knows the map of that, as soon as they saw that, they're just like, oh no! And everybody started kind of getting on edge, and the guy runs in there and just pops him right square in the head, and that place just erupted, dude. It was so awesome. I loved the atmosphere of that entire thing. It was so cool. And it just made me wish that I would have entered. I may not have won. I probably wouldn't have necessarily won it, but I could have made a run in that tournament. I think that I may have actually been able to, because every time I looked in there and watched, the people that were playing didn't seem like they were great. Their aim wasn't very good. They didn't seem to know the maps terribly well. I mean, good enough to be able to make it work, but I don't know. I still remember a lot of that stuff pretty well, and I've always been pretty good at GoldenEye in general. Wow, that was fast. We hit the score limit on that really quickly. So actually, you know what, we're not going to do Whirlwind just yet, because that's the free table of the month. I kind of want to devote an entire episode to that. Kind of like what we did with the Arabian Nights one. So we'll do Whitewater and close out the regular tables on this. So yeah, it was awesome, but what I'm hoping is that they do some kind of, like, I hope they do a rush tournament, because that'd be one that you can have a whole bunch of people entering at once, and, I would kick everybody's ass. I would. That would be one that I would be pretty confident that I would be able to win the whole thing. Because, like you guys have been kind of noticing, I own all the records at that arcade. Like, all of them. On every track. So, I would be in pretty good shape to do that. That was a really shitty first ball, by the way. I'm kind of embarrassed by that. This table's kind of crazy, though. Like, it seems so narrow. Does it not seem really narrow to you guys? Like, there's just something about it in general that I can't really put my finger on it, per se, but it seems so much smaller than a lot of the tables we've been playing on. And it's so congested. There's just... It's like a sick man's nose. It's just, there's shit all over the place. And there's just nowhere to go safely. I've played this one a time or two before in my life. I don't remember where. It's been a little while, but I do vaguely remember it. And that was the first thing I thought the first time I saw it too. It was like, man, there is something about this. It seems so, I don't know. It seems really congested. That's like the only thing I can think of. There's not like a lot of open space. Like, you compare it to some of the tables that we've done in the past, and they seem so much more open. But this is definitely not one of them. That's for sure. So, yeah, I would love to certainly see more tournaments at that place that I can actually go and enter and get myself into. I think that I'd, depending on what game it is, I'd probably do pretty well.
Good going, partner!
Good going, partner! I spelled all the things on these signs wrong on purpose, because I'm out in the West! Or the country or whatever. This is Wet Willie's on it. There we go. Well, at least we have a high score right now. That makes me feel better about my life. Like, it seems like a lot of the tables we've been playing on lately have a much lower scoring curve. So it kind of makes you feel like you're not doing as well. Like, there's one that I always seem to play when I'm at the arcade, and it's the Getaway, and it scores really well, but it's so hard that, like, you can never actually get good high scores. Like, I always end up only getting, like, you know, 20 million, if I'm lucky. With this one, I mean, I'm kind of, you know, just fucking around, and I'm actually doing pretty good. I'm sucking it into the whirlpool! Waterfall! Oh, 5x on the playfield. I don't know what that means. I'm just assuming that everything's worth 5 times more. Or is it on, like, select things only? I'm assuming that it's definitely not everything is 5x. Those are only worth like 50 bucks, or 50 points a pop. This game has some funny sound effects on it. Alright, why don't you just... Oh, there we go. I gotta see if I can at least get that score limit. That would be most good, Patrick. Most good. I do like this table a lot, though. It's like the colors are really bright and vivid. There's always something going on. I like kind of all the flashing lights up there. Ah, there's that score limit. We got you, but yeah, there's all sorts of stuff constantly going on, and I like it. Hold on a second. Oh, never mind. Alright, my friends, well, unfortunately, we've run out of time for today, but we've nailed everything else in Season 2, so the only thing that's left in here, and what I will probably devote an entire episode on since it's an actual free table and we can play it kind of at our own leisure, not having to worry about score limits, is Whirlwind. So when we come back next time and Let's Play more Pinball Arcade, we're going to check that out. And then we will kind of dive into the lone table that's sitting in here. So we'll probably, that'll be 2 episodes from now, but after that, I'll kind of have this series be on kind of an as-needed basis, where as they put new material in, then we'll kind of play some more of the tables, but... So, there's about 2 episodes left in this series for now. I'll kind of postpone it until they add more stuff. So until then, my friends, I'm actually going to edit and upload this episode at my friend Colby's house. I'm going over there to hang out and play some Tekken Tag and some NBA 2K14. So you guys take it easy, and I'll edit and upload this thing and get it done over at his place. So I will see you guys in a little while. Take care, everybody. Hope you all have a safe Friday night, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.